This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Hi, I'm Amber, and today my gorgeous and fabulous co-host is Miss Jennifer Hanway. She's a holistic nutritionist and a friend of the show. In fact, you are quite consistently always one of our top performing guests. People just love to hear from you. So welcome back. It's such an honor to have you here again.
Thank you for having me. And I just love being here. And I just love how our conversations are just girlfriends talking about the real shit rather than I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to push anything. We are just, we were talking off air and I was like, we should be recording this because it's all good stuff. So I love being here and I love talking to you.
Thank you so much. And what we were talking about, in case you at home are as nosy as I would be, is on previous podcasts, Jennifer introduced me to these live-on lipoic, right? Lipoic. I didn't get a lot of sleep. Liposomal. Thank you. Sorry. Lipoic acid is the name of one of the supplements. They're liposomal vitamins. And we met through New Beauty. You're part of the New Beauty Brain Trust. And, one of these supplements have come in the test tube. Actually, now they've had a few of them. It's these liposomal supplements by Live On Labs. And since you are so much smarter than I am, can you explain to people at home what these liposomal supplements are? And again, we're not trying to push them. I've just been taking them and have noticed a definite difference in the way I feel.
So I'll just back you up on that. So I have been taking the vitamin C for years, ever since I had some dental surgery, and they said to me, this is wonderful for tissue healing. And by the way, it's also wonderful for skin. And this was way before, this was probably maybe 7 years ago. So I've been taking it forever. So when they were in the test tube, I was like, this is amazing. I can cancel my order, like fantastic. So with supplements come in lots of different forms. So we have what we tend to think of as supplements, which is either the kind of the hard tablets or the capsules. We have liquids, we have powders, and we have gel or liposomals, which is the vitamins that we're talking about. And different supplements digest and break down and are absorbed in different ways by the body. And one of the reasons why I love liposomal vitamin C rather than something like a vitamin C capsule is how much the body can use and absorb. So when we're taking that liposomal vitamin and I go straight into my mouth and chase it down with water. We're working on that with you. Get you to that hardcore.
Never.
It's just like, it's like doing a tequila shot. You do the tequila and then you do the lime, you do the supplement straight into your mouth and then the water.
Speaking of which, by the way, I did a reels on this liposomal for New Beauty. So if you're interested, you can DM me. You can go to my social at Amber Mill. You can go to New Beauty Social, and you will see this cocktailed shot. Now, full disclosure, we don't get sponsored by, neither Jennifer nor I work for Live On. So these are things that we actually have started to take in. Like it is an acquired taste and experience, I will say, because the liposomal supplements do not dissolve in water, and they have kind of a gooey, mushy, like a jelly kind of, it's an experience. But for me, I was like, this reminds me of my college days. I do 4 different supplements in one shot, shove it down. But so many people wrote to me about ways that they do it. So one woman found a way that she divides it into high C. She's like, it dissolves. I don't want to know what's in that crap because yikes. But somebody else wrote and they were like, could you do this in tequila? And trust me, every morning when I'm looking at that shot, I'm like, maybe for science sake, we should try it.
Could you do it? Well, yesterday was National Cocktail Day. So I feel like we could do a tequila.
Yeah. Why ruin the tequila is what I say.
We know that the things that make the biggest changes are not actually the most enjoyable things.
Right.
We go for our workouts or we go and get our beauty treatments. Rarely will I spend an hour going for a massage.
Right.
But of course I'll go and get lasers or needles stuck in my face.
Right.
Things that are effective and not always the most enjoyable. And this can come down to supplements as well. So
I'm just going to say it. I've swallowed worse, and we're going to leave it at that. Okay.
That is the nutritional content of other things that we could be talking about here. That's a whole other that's a like G-rated podcast for another day. Maybe that's a Valentine's Day show.
I love it. And what we're talking about is obviously chocolate.
Obviously chocolate. I wasn't talking about nothing else. I don't know about you. Now I've completely lost my train of thought at 12 p.m. So we were so supplements, empty stomachs. So we were talking about different types of supplements, different ways of having supplements, powders, capsules, pills, all of those things. With certain type of supplements, there are better delivery methods. So with the supplements that we're talking about, because they're that liposomal texture, we want to take them on an empty stomach. So vitamin C is always best absorbed on an empty stomach. And that gel-like texture of the liposomal supplements is much more efficient to be digested and taken in by the body. So not my only reason why we wouldn't do it with tequila, but we don't want to do it in a smoothie or straight after breakfast, because we want empty stomach. Coffee is fine. Coffee is always fine. We want an empty stomach, and then we want to take the supplement, and then we want at least 15 minutes.
So just in case you're listening right now, I don't want you to think that I lied about the title. We're going to be talking about the science of detox, but this is very interesting because listen, supplements are a huge, huge category. And I will tell you that when I take this cocktail, I feel better. And I wonder if it's that vitamin B that's really kind of giving me that energy. The vitamin C is sort of giving me that sustained immunity. I don't even know what glutathione does, but it came in a test tube and I was like, let's just throw it in there. Throw it in there. I think it's good for overall all cell health and brain health. I don't want to be making false claims here.
Glutathione this is a really great way to segment back to what we're supposed to be talking. I feel like we could talk about all kinds of things, but glutathione is a very, very potent antioxidant.
Okay.
And we need lots and lots of antioxidants for detoxification. So if I'm working with a client or a patient who has high heavy metals, I will recommend a nutrient IV with IV glutathione in there.
Okay.
So straight into the bloodstream, that's the most effective way. But the second most effective way, if someone doesn't want to do that or they don't have access to IVs, then the liposomal glutathione, like from Livon, is the next best effective way. So yes, glutathione is one of the most potent antioxidants for detoxification.
I mean, I'm feeling really great with this cocktail. It's something that like I put on my social this morning. I did my shot. I generally will do it and then have my coffee right afterwards. But not and then wait a little bit and have like some food later on.
Do at least 15 minutes between your cocktail and your coffee.
Okay.
So we just want to give our digestive system just plenty of time to absorb all of that goodness and then do your coffee.
Can you do the coffee first, you said?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Sometimes mama just needs to get up and go. Okay. Got it. Yeah. But between food, do your coffee, wait 15 minutes, take down that nasty but effective shot, and then go on with your day and have a meal when? Like an hour later?
Not even 15 minutes.
15 minutes is all we need.
So I will wake up, I do water, coffee, water, supplements, or my Livon supplements, a little bit of time, then my breakfast.
Got it. And now, FYI, you will also pee neon yellow. It's going to happen because your body cannot absorb all of these vitamins. Yeah. So you had mentioned before the benefit of taking a water-soluble vitamin, which I was not aware of, is that your body will absorb what it needs, but it will also excrete it. And while we're not making medical claims, like the risk of vitamin overdose with a water-soluble vitamin is pretty
less
low
than with a fat-soluble vitamin. So water-soluble vitamins, something like vitamin C, it's water-soluble, so it goes into our body, we use what we can, and then we pee it out. Fat-soluble vitamins, if we're overdosing, wrong word, but if we're taking too many types of fat-soluble vitamins, they can get stuck in the fat layer of the cells, and they're a little bit more challenging. So we really want to think about that. But something like 1,000 grams of vitamin C, not a problem at all.
Excellent, excellent, excellent to know. Okay, so we know we're like heading into spring. I mean, in New York, we can almost feel it. It's that time of year where it's like 70 one day and then 40 the next. don't worry, everybody. I have not put away my winter coats. I will warn you all, because the day I put away my winter coats, we will have a snowstorm.
Mhm.
But we hear so much right now, this time of year, as we're going into, the warmer weather, especially here in like the Northeast. And, we're going into less clothing season. Everybody does these kind of like crazy detox diets, right? I have done every single one of them.
Mhm.
So I get it. I'm human too. Um, but but we know they're not good, right? Like I was laughing with my girlfriend the other day about the Master Cleanse, which was lemon, cayenne water, and maple syrup. Like, who the hell
I
said that was?
agree.
Thank you, Beyonce. But even Beyonce
Beyonce.
came out and said, I didn't do this for a health reason. I did it because I needed to lose like 20 pounds stat.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Thank
but
you.
let's talk about this. Like, are, is there such a thing as a detox diet?
Is there a diet that can help us be more efficient detoxifiers? Yes.
Okay.
So what we're talking about here is, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me about celery juice, juice cleansers, apple cider vinegars, I would have a lot of dollars. I would have a lot more dollars. Do those things. So I just pulled some notes, and this is maybe 1/10 of stuff that I have on the science of detoxification. Like, that's nothing. Look around my office right now, and there are plastic tubs full of these manila folders with information on gut health and detoxification.
Okay.
So it's a two-pronged approach, because our bodies naturally detoxify. It's one of the things that make us living organisms. So when we look into science, one of the 7 things that makes us able to be alive is our ability to detoxify. Because if we didn't, we would die pretty quickly. We are detoxifying as we have this conversation, as we go about our days. Our bodies are always naturally detoxifying. But because of environmental pollution, stress, processed foods, toxins in our beauty products, alcohol, all of those things, we slow down our body's natural ability to detoxify. So when we're talking about detox diet and upregulating detoxification, it's what can we do to help our body's detoxification process become a lot more efficient. And there's really 3 parts to that, and we can talk about that in a second.
Great. Okay. So right off the bat, like these juice cleanses, like that's not the answer. All these fabulous.
Yeah, all the scourge of Instagram science, or lack of science. So we're in a situation right now where we've never been so informed, but we've never been so misinformed.
Yeah.
And when we look at the science of detoxification, and the science of detoxification really has 2 main phases. So we're looking at, number 1, getting the toxin out of the cell, and number 2, excreting the toxin from the body.
Okay.
When we look at that from a scientific point of view, the amount of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, polyphenols, and amino acids that we need are incredible. We need so many nutrients to do this, including amino acids, which come from protein. So what's going to happen with the juice cleanse is that you're not going to get all of those nutrients. So it's not helping efficient detoxification. And then there's 2 parts to this. And this is one of the reasons why some people can feel, I don't know if you've ever done like I can last half a day on a juice cleanse, forget about it.
I've done them all. Listen, I will sometimes, for me, it's more of a control thing, right? So if I've really been binging, it's more of like a punishment thing, but I've stopped that because I realize if I'm doing the juices, generally you're consuming about anywhere between 400 to 700 calories. And I know it's empty, and then everything for me stops. My digestion, I'm not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I forgot the Master Cleanse. You were also taking that laxative tea. I mean, could you talk about like the worst thing in the world? You were cranky, you were hungry, and you were like, had liquid diarrhea. Gross.
Then what you're doing is that you are flushing your body out of all of the bacteria in your stomach that you need for efficient detoxification. I, for years before I knew better, did colonics because I wanted to. And you flush out all of the good with the bad, and it set me up for years of digestive health issues.
Don't you remember? I remember I had a short stint where I was doing, gosh, this was when I was working, probably like in the early 2000s. And I'd say I only did like 3 or 4 of them, but it was like, this can't be good.
What were we doing to
I have
ourselves?
no
What were we
idea.
doing? I felt incredible the morning after a colonic, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And what that did was that took out all of the good bacteria in my microbiome.
Right.
So
Not good.
colonics, laxatives, they are a no these days. They are a no.
I will say though, when you are doing something like a juice cleanse, right?
Mhm.
I do notice though that I feel like that, well, there is always like an immediate weight loss drop, right?
Mhm.
And I'm assuming that's just your body releasing a lot of water that
That's a
it
lot.
probably
That's a lot of
desperately
water.
needs. Yeah.
And here's the thing: we can get the same benefits from something like a juice cleanse by the key for juice cleanses is that we're cutting out the crap and we're barely eating any calories.
Right.
For me, if a client wants to do a juice cleanse, it's one day. We're
Right.
doing one day.
Right.
And I would rather, if you want to do something like that, if you're like, I need a reset, it's let's put in some great quality protein in there. Let's maybe do like a smoothie. Let's do some bone broth. Let's do some really good fats. The other thing is a lot with the juice cleansers, we talked about fat soluble and water soluble vitamins. Your vitamins A, D, E, and K, which a lot of those vitamins are in your green leafy vegetables, you're not absorbing those if there's no fat in your diet.
Ah, so like even that you take it, so you might as well just be drinking water. If you're going to do a juice cleanse, save the $50 a day, save the $100 a day,
$100 a day.
and do and reach out to Jennifer immediately because this is obviously not going to work. So how long, if we do, let's say we're in a period where we're like, okay, I've been binging or I'm just not feeling optimal. Like, is it possible to do a healthy detoxification? And what does that look like? How long does it take?
Yeah, so what I would say is to really think about there's a few things that we can do before we even get to that stage.
Okay.
So number one, it's forgetting this all or nothing mentality of all of the crap, juice cleanse.
Right.
Because the number one source of toxins in our diet is coming from processed foods.
Right.
And sugar, 100% is a toxin. Alcohol, 100% is a toxin. If you are reducing or eliminating the amount of added sugar and alcohol in your diet, that's 70 to 80% of the work.
Right.
Then what we're going to think about is gut health, because here's the thing, the first place the toxins have to go through is through the gut. So if you have an unhealthy gut, you're going to be taking in a ton more toxins. Your liver is going to have to work much harder. I always use this analogy of if you have a hole or like a leak in your kitchen ceiling and you're desperately trying to mop up the rain that's coming in, but you don't fix the hole, you're always going to be mopping up. And here in this case, the hole is our gut and the mopping up of the kitchen floor is our detoxification of our liver. We've got to have that healthy gut so the gut lining and the microbiome can stop the toxins from coming in, giving our liver a little bit of a break.
Okay. And then, speaking of the liver, you hear a lot about milk thistle, which is really supposed to be good for it. Do you believe in sort of those type of supplementing with?
You can do, but again, it's what are the first things that you need to do?
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Optimize your gut health. Have a very nutrient dense diet. So all of our great animal proteins, all of our healthy fats, all of our polyphenols and our antioxidants coming from our leafy greens and our cruciferous vegetables. Then supplements are the piece of the puzzle that comes right at the end of it. So yeah, so milk thistle, charcoal, dandelion, they're all wonderful, but they're the last 1% to 2% of what we need to do.
Right. And I will say this, I love that you said before, a lot of it is not this all or nothing. I think we've been so conditioned to think like, I'm being good today, I'm being bad today. Right. And I don't really know how we break that. I do know that in my head, when I am being good, and that is getting sleep and not, having a nightly cocktail and, not eating crappy foods. You do feel better.
And I'm pretty black and white in my recommendations. I'm not the nutritionist that you come to if you want to do intuitive eating or a little bit of what you fancy. That's not my practice.
Right.
But I don't have my clients say good or bad. You're on track or you're off track.
Okay.
Because then otherwise we're automatically putting judgment on ourselves and what we're doing. So we're either on track or off track. We have treat meals, not cheat meals.
Right. And I love that. Not cheat meals, you're having treat meals. So it's more about what can we add in, right? As opposed to sort of like
Right.
eliminating. Although there is things that eliminate, and you yourself are not, you really don't condone that nightly cocktail.
Your liver has to work so hard. You live in one of the middle of the busiest cities in the world. When I see lab work from our New York clients and patients, heavy metals with everybody that lives in New York City.
Really?
Your liver is doing so much work that we don't want to, on top of that, put on that nightly cocktail. So your liver has to do even more work. Then we're also talking about, and this is another conversation, but if your body has alcohol in it, the first thing that it's going to do is it wants to burn through that alcohol. I think we talked about this over the holidays.
Yeah.
Your body has to burn through the alcohol before it can get to any stored carbs and any stored body fat. So you have your nightly cocktail and you do your Peloton ride the next day, you're not going to get to any of that important stored body fat. You're going to be burning off that alcohol.
I mean, I love you, but I hate to hear that stuff. I know we do. So going back to this idea of detox, right? We know the juices aren't good. But we do know that what we want to do is upregulate our bodies to be detoxing the most efficiently that they can. So you mentioned things like protein. Are there any other like good vegetables to help us get rid of the toxins?
Sure. So when we think about one of the reasons why juice cleansers don't work is that we have phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And in the middle, there's another little process. So phase 1, this is in any scientist listening, close your ears now. But in phase 1 detoxification, we're taking the toxins out of the cell. In the middle, what happens is that they actually become more toxic. So we take the toxin out of the cell, and then what happens is that they're more toxic. And this is when it's in our bloodstream. This is why one of the reasons why doing a juice cleanse or celery juice or ACV or the master cleanse can actually make you feel worse is that you're getting the toxins out of the cell and then you're recirculating them in the bloodstream. So phase 1, what we call reactive oxygen species, that more dangerous toxin. And then phase 2 is turning that into a water-soluble toxin and moving it out of the body. So cut the crap, look after your gut health, then make sure that your diet is super nutrient dense. So we need some great amino acids from animal proteins, or if you're a vegan, things like your beans or lentils, your quinoa, your organic tofu, tempeh. Then we need as many vegetables as possible because we need that fiber. And then really thinking about what are those deep colored vegetables that we can have. So really thinking about eating the rainbow. Our leafy greens are wonderful. Things like blueberries, coffee, dark chocolate, organic red wine. They're full of anthocyanins. They are polyphenols that really help boost detoxification. Cruciferous vegetables. Literally, I eat at least 2 cups of cruciferous vegetables a day. They're wonderful for helping with estrogen detoxification. So that's really important for women. Things like flax seeds have a compound called lignans, which help detoxify estrogen. So basically and the healthy fats. So really what I'm saying is making sure everything that we're eating is as nutrient dense and those dark colored fruits and veggies, and chocolate and coffee and red wine can be in there too.
Can we go back to this idea of like phase 1, mid-phase, phase 2? Right. Yes. So, because I know, listen, this is probably more complicated than we could hope to address in this podcast. But at the very basic of phase 1, what are the items again that we need to help with phase 1 removal?
So really both for phase 1 and phase 2, we need amino acids, which are the building blocks. Yeah. So that's what protein breaks down into our body. Vitamins and minerals, antioxidants and polyphenols. So those are those brightly colored compounds in our plant foods, and then healthy fats, and then a ton of water. So that's what we need to pull those things out of the cell, get them into a water soluble form. And then the last part of this is that we then have to move them out of the body. And we do that by sweating and breathing and pooing and peeping.
And like drinking. Yeah. So hydration, a lot of water moving through the body. So you've got to be flushing that out. So this concept, again, going back to juice cleanses, that or a 7-day cleanse that it's going to work. It's really not, because you're not giving yourself the nutrients to turn that toxin into a water soluble toxin that can then be flushed out. So even though you are having that water weight, you're actually not detoxing. You're just flushing out water and actually making yourself, because it's true when you start these. And I love that it's always like, you're going to feel a little bit worse as the toxins are leaving your body. And you're like, actually, they're not leaving your body. They're recirculating back into your body.
Exactly. And then if we're not having the fiber, we need that fiber to do a good poop and to push the waste. I talk about poop all of the time. We need that fiber to push the waste products out.
I can't believe I'm going to say something that is like almost sacrilegious, but shame on you, Beyonce, for even putting this into the mind of all of us. No, I'd done the master cleanse way before that. So I can't blame the queen. So, okay, now we're talking about like we're talking like a lot about the liver. Are there certain foods, we know that sugar is really, really bad. So if we're trying to go now into this idea of a sugar detox, I mean, step one, eliminate all of the sugar, but are there other things that can help us get through that?
Yeah. So when we talk about sugar detox, it's a different biochemical reaction. It's a different physiological processes.
Okay.
So while sugar is a toxin, when we're talking about sugar detoxing, what most people are talking about is getting rid of sugar out of their body and getting rid of those cravings as well.
Right.
So what happens, we are, as human beings, biologically wired to crave sugar. Because back in our hunter-gatherer days, our Paleolithic days, it helped us survive as a species. So we would have high sugar foods a couple of times a year. They would come from berries and honey, and then the rest of the year we wouldn't have them. So they were a high energy, high calorie food source. So as humans, we are biologically wired to want those foods because our civilization may have changed, but our biology hasn't.
Okay.
So what having sugary foods do is they set off a dopamine receptor in the brain. That is why having sugar tastes so great. It sets off this feeling in the brain that releases our feel-good neurotransmitters. So we are wired to want more of that and more of that. And the more sugar we have, the less receptive that receptor gets. So we need more sugar.
Right.
The other part is that sugar will spike our blood sugar. And then what that does is that dysregulates our hunger hormones. So when we have sugar, it releases the hormones that make us feel more hungry and suppresses the hormones that make us feel full and satiated. So here we are on this blood sugar roller coaster. Combine that with modern day food processing and added sugar being in, I think it's literally in maybe 60 to 70% of the foods that you find in the grocery store. It's really challenging.
Right. It's really, really challenging.
It's really challenging. So the thing I say to people is start by giving up soda.
Yeah.
That's just
even diet soda.
Even now, diet soda is a whole other thing. But yes, to diet soda. I was presenting a wellness day at Pepsi last week. And that was interesting because I was talking about giving up sugar. And I was like, my key tip for this is to give up. And I was like, bloop on the slideshow because I was like, I cannot say this in front of Pepsi. I was like, I got marched out of the building. They were wonderful and very receptive, I have to say. But giving up added sugar, especially in the forms of sodas, oh my goodness, in the form of our Starbucks drinks and our Dunkin', there are Starbucks drinks that have 70 grams of added sugar.
Oh, it's insane. When you go there and once they started putting like calories on the menu, it was like, this is literally like one of those Frappuccino. I don't even think I've ever had one because I'm like, that is like a day's worth of calories.
I would much rather get my calories from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's sugary chemical syrups. And I literally, if I go to Starbucks, I grab an Americano or a black coffee and I'm in an, or something with oat milk and I'm in and out. When I started looking at it, especially at the holiday drinks, I was like, we need to stop necessarily vilifying soda companies and start vilifying Starbucks for the amount of sugar that they're putting in their drinks.
Yeah.
But looping back. So reducing the amount of added sugar in our diet. So added sugar is the stuff that's put in by the manufacturers, not stuff that we naturally find in fruits and in dairy. And then also when we're doing that, we need to up our intake of protein, fiber, and healthy fats because that helps balance out that blood sugar.
Okay.
If we try and go cold turkey and don't up protein, fiber, and fat, we're just going to end up hungry, cranky, and craving the next kind of Snickers bar, Starbucks, or soda.
I remember now, I hate to call them out because, no, I don't, because we keep it real here. But I remember I was sent this supplement from Sakara. It's like the D-bloat anti-sugar. And I remember I called you and I was like, what are your thoughts on this? And we were like, first of all, it's like in a cocoa powder. It had ashwagandha in it, which you were like, I like ashwagandha, but why? But just take ashwagandha. Duh. Thank you for that tip. But I just want everybody to know too at home, like we fall for this stuff. We're humans. So it's like a good, and if you have questions right now, you want me to pass along to Jennifer, always send them.
Bring them. We'll have to do like a
or DM. Yeah, because she's great for that. But yeah, tell us what you were like.
I think it's one of my biggest issues is brands and products that pretend to be healthy. And when you look under the hood, it's actually sugar.
Yeah.
So I would rather, like, I'm all about Snickers being a Snickers bar.
Right.
But then but you're saying a kind bar is healthy with added protein when there's 5 grams of protein and a ton of sugar. Sakara is another really great option of that. Just like hides a kind bar underneath the desk. But Sakara is another really great version of that. And I have done some work with Sakara in the past. I think Whitney and Danielle are amazing at what they do. But some of their products do have coconut sugar, coconut nectar. I found a product the other day that it said coconut blossom nectar something. And I'm like, you mean sugar?
Yeah.
And a lot of these products and blends have sugar in them because let's be real, they taste disgusting.
Yeah.
Moving back to what we were saying.
Live on supplements. There's no sugar in those.
But let's be real about coconut sugar is still a sugar. Coconut nectar is still a sugar. Beet sugar, they're still sugars. They still break down in the same way. They still spike our blood sugar. They still set off cravings. They still harm our liver and they still make us spit on fat.
Right. And so at the end of the day, it's like you might as well be look for the healthy thing in that. So maybe if ashwagandha is good to help curb sugar cravings, which by the way, I didn't notice it did. For me, the thing that helps curb sugar cravings is by not having sugar. So I have stopped my nightly treat. Right. My husband's a beanpole. He's tall, he's thin, he's just built that way. And he likes, but he'll also he'll be like, I'm going to have 3 M&Ms as my post dinner and that's it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just finish the bag then. Even though it's family size, I don't have that. Yeah. But when I stop, so for me personally, a little bit leads to a lot of it. My mom's the same way, but if we don't have it, you're just surprised. It takes like a couple of days. And then I'm just like, I don't really want it.
And we were talking about growth supplements. People are not willing to do the hard work. Yeah. And what are you going to do? Are you going to stop having your M&Ms and get through that kind of and honestly, it's not as long as people think. People always ask me like, when are my sugar cravings going to stop? I'm like, give it 5 to 7 days.
Yeah.
But that's not easy in the beginning. But what does seem easy is taking a really cute supplement that is on Instagram that your favorite celeb is taking, and it's in really cute packaging. That feels easier than giving up those M&Ms.
And by the way, they didn't add enough sugar to that because it still tasted like shit. So go back to the drawing board on that one. I feel like here, at the end of the day, it's like there is no easy cure. You did mention before, you're like, if my clients do a juice cleanse, it's one day. So for those of us who still are not ready to give that up, like when is it okay to do a juice cleanse?
So I would even say, and it's something that I do, Tim and I, my husband and I were going for date night tonight. We're going to a steakhouse, but I know that there'll be wine, there might be some dessert. So what I might do tomorrow is instead of doing a juice cleanse, I'll do my morning water, coffee, supplements. I'll have a smoothie for breakfast because that's what I always have with my grass-fed beef protein and my collagen, all of the veggies. And then I might do something like a soup for lunch with some bone broth. I'll probably do a roasted cauliflower soup. And then in the evening, I'll either have another smoothie or I'll have some more soup, or I might have something like a salmon salad.
Right.
So I'm still getting the benefits of giving my digestive system a little break because I probably will eat more than usual tonight, but I'm also still giving myself the nutrients, and I'm not going to bounce back the next day of like, give me the croissant and the bread.
Right. And you're also not going to be crazy the next day and be like, I'm now going to starve myself and be, set myself up for failure.
And
Because
our bodies hate that.
we know this. Listen, I have done like a day of juicing before. I've had like, day one of a vacation, which then always gets blown because the second you hit the beach, it's like, give me that pina colada. Cause I always need one to set off a vacation, just one. But for me,
vacation.
it's like,
yeah.
But it's like, then you're just like setting yourself up for complete failure. We know it.
And our bodies hate that. Our bodies hate this ping pong approach. And what that does is that just slows down our metabolism.
Yeah.
So if your body doesn't know that it's getting great quality nutrients regularly and great quality fuel regularly, it holds on to everything, and it stops us from burning our stored body fat. So I just have to be consistent. Here's the thing. Consistency isn't sexy. It isn't easy to put in an Instagram post. It doesn't sell products, but it's what gets long-lasting results.
I want to like really quickly just highlight your Instagram, which is amazing because you have, some of my favorite videos you've done is like your whole food shopping. I love that. You always show great healthy recipes. It's really informative. You're very, very interactive. So people, if you have questions, you have to go to her Instagram. That is at Jennifer Hanway, because you are so interactive with people and receptive and like fast at answering questions. I love that. Thank you.
And thank you. Yeah. So you can just find me at Jennifer Hanway, and if you DM me, I will DM you back with the answer.
Yeah. You will.
Q&A is like my favorite thing to do. Like I love just doing back and forth. And I just get I'm a pretty laid back person, pretty smiley, pretty friendly, but I get so angry at the misinformation that I see on social media.
And because there is so much of it, and look, we all fall for it.
We all fall for it.
I bought that anti-static brush off of a Instagram ad. Didn't work.
I think I have the exact same thing, and it's in a box in my hallway for Goodwill.
Yeah, right. It was like an ionic, and I was like, well, I guess it's still a brush. You could use it, but I was like, so angry at it. I think I probably donated mine too.
Like that, they're not so dangerous as the misinformation that we're seeing with nutrition and fitness. I think one of the most scary things I saw recently was mouth taping. I don't know whether you saw this, but it was to help people breathe better. Some influencer or celebrity was talking about how she tapes her mouth up at night.
Wait, she tapes her mouth shut at night?
She tapes her mouth shut at night so she breathes through her nose.
Oh, dear Lord. Please give me the patience. Wait, what?
Whatever you want to do it in the safety of your own home. There's some things that I will be 100% honest. There's things that I try at home that will never make it onto my Instagram because A, I know how to do these things safely, but B, it's something that I'll try and never do again, but I'm not going to put it on Instagram if it's going to be dangerous for people's health.
Right. Well, listen, even when we were doing a live show where we were talking about test tube and the vitamins, and, while supplements are really beneficial, a woman was like, they don't work with her system. So at the end of the day, I will also say, always consult your doctor first and foremost. And if something doesn't work for you, if you have a sensitive stomach, everything is not for everyone. You have to make the choices that are right for you. There's plenty of things that come across my beauty desk that people are like, face oil right now is one of them. Face oils for me, they're wonderful. They are wonderful for so many people. For my skin, it doesn't work.
Yep.
Right. Just like certain supplements.
Yeah. If you're going to make, err on the side of caution, if you're going to make changes in your diet, come to see someone like me, consult with your doctor. But it's funny, people will say to me, and this is a DM that I get on Instagram all of the time, I'm having this, and it's not something that I've recommended, it's something they've seen online. I'm having this reaction to this supplement. Should I stop? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely do.
The same with
Well,
our skincare products. We would stop if we had a rash or a breakout, same with supplements.
I got nervous. Now, speaking of Instagram, and just because I'm honest with everybody, when I had to do that new beauty reels for the Live On, I was, and I do a cocktail of 4 different supplements. So it is every bit of a thick shot. And I realized I had to shoot it 2 different ways and there was no way to fake it. I've worked in television production. I mean, and I just went for it, but essentially I'd taken 8 packets of vitamins. And I remember, I mean, you want to talk about peeing nuclear waste. My husband and I do not talk about that. We're not one of those couples who goes to the bathroom in front of each other. We're just not. We've been together 13 years. And I'm like, if that's your thing at home, good for you. For me, never.
Yeah.
But I literally called him over. I was like, Tom, you need to come. Oh, it was this color. I was like, it looked like it probably would have glowed in a black light, but I was like, I just want you to see this because if I go to the hospital, I doubled down. And thank you. You told me that because now I learned something that because they're water soluble, like very hard to OD, your body just peed them out, which clearly it did as per my neon urine. Yeah, I was glad to know that, you know, I've done things for the gram too, that I was like, God, this probably isn't great.
We lose our common sense and we think that especially I think it's in beauty and nutrition and fitness, if some is good, more must be better.
Yeah, no.
And that's not how it works.
No, it is absolutely not. Jennifer, I adore you. I just absolutely adore you. And I do want to call out right now, because in terms of this, you know, healthy detoxifying, clean eating, you actually have a free guide on your website.
Yes. So right now you can get the 5-day meal plan and guide to clean eating. And here's the thing, before we even think about detoxification and hormone balance and fat loss, we need to make sure we're eating clean foods on a consistent basis. So you can go over to the website, or Instagram is always the best way to find me at Jennifer Hanway, and download that free guide there.
I absolutely love it. And of course, like we said before, you know, you can reach out to her on Instagram. She's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful questions. Check out some of the other fun podcasts we've done, because I feel like I consistently get notes from fans who are like, wow, this was really informative, really helpful. So if you like this, you're definitely going to want to check out some of her other podcasts. I'll also put links. So you did an article with New Beauty regarding the science of detox. So if you want more information, a little bit deeper about the different foods that you can use for your liver, for sugar, for all of this information that we kind of covered, I'll make sure to post those links. And of course, if you've got questions you want to ask me personally, you can always write to me at Amber@Art Beauty Podcast. Jennifer, thank you again for being on with us today.
Hopefully I'll get to see you in real life very, very soon.
I hope so. You're making a trip to New York anytime soon?
Next month.
Oh, yay. Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
So spring will have sprung and I will get to see you and give you a hug IRL. And as always, everybody listening at home, happy spring. Hope you're going to go into it feeling a little bit better. Don't do the juice cleanse. Save the $100. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.